Hey guys, Omni here. We have made it to the end of yet another MCU Disney Plus series. We are about to dive into the final episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Last week's episode was, I think a lot of people were a little disappointed with how slow it was, but it was the calm before the storm. That's kind of the typical way you go into your finale a lot of the times. But I really, really loved the episode because there was a lot of great character moments in this episode. Especially between Bucky and Sam, them both kind of coming to some sort of conclusion with themselves about Steve and their relationship with him and with themselves and how to pursue their own healing in two separate ways. And I really appreciated that. Of course, Sam just being the miracle worker that he is, and this guy that knows trauma, that knows PTSD, that knows the struggle of a soldier coming back into the world, sharing his perspective. And he tried to do that with Carly before he got interrupted. And he might have even been able to get through had Walker not interfered. But he really knows people. And I think it really shows why he's such a good fit to carry on the shield. And on top of that, just the way he went to Isaiah and kind of got more of that clarification on the history of the shield, the history of the Captain America mantle, the history of the super soldier serum, and not really, while honoring and respecting Isaiah's point of view, he's forging his own path. He's not letting, like he told Bucky, he's like, don't let anybody else tell you who you are. And he's moving forward with that. He's holding steadfast to his beliefs. Like we had this moment with him and Sarah talking about what made him initially join the military in the beginning. And it was to make the world that he had always wanted to see that didn't exist, but he wanted to fight to prove and make that world a reality. And I really like that sentiment. And it goes to show just how genuine his character is. And I want to see where that goes. I want to see how this expands. Of course, Walker going farther down his, path of destruction after the consequences, and lots of consequences came for him after the fallout of what happened in the previous the episode before the last one when he bloodied the shield. However, the government organizations that were responsible for him took no responsibility for his own actions. So it's exactly kind of how things go. And that's an unfortunate reality of the world, which we are currently in the middle of working on changing. So I'm really excited to see where they expand on this. Of course, he's making his own shield. He's not going to take this thing sitting down. We had a guest cameo from Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who's playing Contessa Fontaine. So I'm curious to see where she's going to go. I think she's going to be setting up her own team, whether it's the Thunderbolts, which they've been kind of heavily setting up in this, or her own Dark Avengers. We'll see. Seems like she came to recruit him at the end of his hearing for a little special, maybe a special assignment that might come down the line. I imagine we might get like a post-credit scene or something like that in the final bits of this episode that will actually be setting up either the Thunderbolts or Dark Avengers. So we'll see where this goes. But guys, I'm really excited. This has been a long journey. I can't wait to find out what was in the box at the end of last episode for Sam. New wings, new suit, both. Let's find out. Guys, remember the full-length unedited reaction is going to be available on Patreon if you become a member here on the channel. Because I have started my new job, my schedule is a little different from my 9 to 5. So that reaction might not be up completely until later in the afternoon. It's hard to say. My Invincible reaction is also going to be a little bit delayed today. So I apologize for that this week. Next week, that shouldn't be too much of an issue considering next week is Invincible's finale. So we'll see how that whole thing wraps up. That's been another banger show if you haven't checked it out. But enough talking. Let's dive into Falcon and Winter Soldier's finale. One world, one people. Here we go.
I'm almost there.
He's flying.
I called in some backup.
Excuse me, sir. Are you supposed to be here?
It's me.
What the fuck?
What are you doing?
Relax, no one's looking for me here.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Sam, I thought I'd get the band back together.
Thank you.
She's there for Carly for another reason. I like how they're keeping that the reveal Oh, shit. Dude, look at it. Oh, hell yeah, man. Just like the fucking comic, dude. Look at that.
Bucky, what's going on your end?
Nothing, all quiet. I'm sorry, wait. Who are you?
Captain America.
Oh,
No one's moving toward the building.
I thought Captain America was on the moon. Jesus.
East evac teams Alpha, Bravo. It's a misdirect. We gotta keep everybody inside.
Dude, I love it. Sam's just owning it after this. Yeah. Oh, wow. Here we go. I'm getting right to it.
Maybe a baguette, a few French fries.
Got my eyes on Sharon, man.
It's Carly.
I'm fighting for something bigger than myself. And with all the bodies you've collected, have you ever been able to say the same?
You don't think I ever fought for something bigger than myself? That's all I ever tried to do.
Dude, he fought Thanos. Shut up. I mean, not directly, but he fought his army. Come talk when you fought an alien invasion. Dude, hell yeah. No, go back. Stop cutting.
Seriously, Bucky, you had one job.
Don't worry about your guy.
Oh my, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Well, that's one down.
It was eating his skin. Sharon, Jesus.
Bucky!
I don't fly, man. That's your thing.
Oh, nice. Oh, dude. He's just leaving him. Leaving Batroc there. Dude, this is so well shot.
Red Wing. See if anyone in there has flight training.
Oh, he's got a new Red Wing. Holy shit. Nice. Yoink. That was nice. I'm loving this suit, man. It looks fantastic in live action. Oh, wow. Get in there.
We need a diversion. Give him someone to rescue.
Morgan Thaw!
Oh. Uh-oh.
Let's finish this.
I didn't mean to kill your friend. I don't want to hurt people that don't matter.
You don't think Lamar's life mattered?
Not to my fight.
Jeez, thank God for that arm, man.
A little birdie told me you know how to fly a helicopter. Boy, you just earned this ass whooping. Okay, what we're gonna do requires perfect timing. We're gonna count down from 5. When we get to 1, you're gonna grab the control.
Oh, dude. Fuck yes, dude.
Nice work, Isla.
Oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, that shield did not last long. He staved off revenge. At least while he could. Sam? Yes.
That's the Black Falcon there.
That's Captain America.
People need to stop throwing shit at Sam like that. Or fuck Bucky. Power broker time. Sharon coming in. Or Batroc. Everybody. Who knows? We'll see.
This way.
Damn, all three of them working together now. Holy shit.
Drop your weapon, Carly.
Come back and work for me again. All of you. We can make a difference together.
Without our super soldiers, how much power does a power broker really have?
Oh.
More than you.
Alors maintenant, Power Broker, tu vas devoir me payer 4 fois ce que tu me devais. Je vais dire au monde entier qui tu es vraiment. OK?
I don't do blackmail.
Carly, don't!
I wonder if Sam and them will find out about Sharon, though. Ooh. God, I love their use of his wings in this show, man.
Mercy bears richer fruit than strict justice.
It's a great app. Lincoln? Really?
Great man, great quote.
Not when you say it.
This isn't about easy decisions, Senator. You just don't understand. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? Every time I pick this thing up, I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it. Even now, I feel it. The stares, the judgment. And there's nothing I can do to change it. Yet I'm still here. No super serum. The only power I have is that I believe we can do better. We can't demand that people step up and we don't meet them halfway. Look, you people have just as much power as an insane god or a misguided teenager. How are you going to use it?
Oh.
Nice job, Cap.
Thanks.
Oh, I called him Cap.
We got eyes on the last flag smasher that fell into the Hudson. He's hurt, but not down. Can you help?
Always.
They're going to the raft. Assuming something doesn't happen to this truck.
One world, one people.
Well, here we are. The fuck is that? Zemo's butler?
There were no suspects in the bombing. The group had a poster.
Wow. Oh, Zemo. One more from the raft. Goddamn.
And resettlement.
Holy shit.
Looks like our friend Zemo kind of got the last laugh. Couldn't have worked better if I'd planned it myself. Oh, well, maybe I did. No, I'm kidding. I didn't. Or did I? Anyway, it's gonna save people. Walker! My God! Let's go!
Now this is more like it.
The black, red, and white.
But black.
Yeah, well, things are about to get weird. So when they do, we're not gonna need a Captain America. We're gonna need a U.S. agent.
I called it. Yes.
That's great.
Keep your phone on.
We will need a blank.
Don't call
Rather
me
than
that.
just calling him that.
Back.
Aw. I'm glad he didn't end up being like a black and white, like villain kind of character, man. He had his own struggle and redemption and fall and decline and...
What you want, Black Falcon?
You need to learn some manners.
He ain't a Falcon anymore, but he's still black. I saw what you did out there. I ain't gonna lie. You're special.
Thank you.
I mean, you ain't no Malcolm or Martin, Mandela, but...
No argument there, but I know what I've got to do.
So, a black Captain America, huh?
Damn right. We built this country. Bled for it. I'm not gonna let anybody tell me I can't fight for it. Not after what everybody before me went through, including you.
Shit. I almost bought that.
Man, do you ever lighten up?
Nope.
Hey, why don't you clean up? There's something I want to show you.
No, he didn't.
Now they'll never forget what you did for this country. Never.
Oh. I'm glad it was some bullshit about them never working together. Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Ms. Carter, on behalf of the United States intelligence community, I'd like to offer you and your family our sincerest apologies. We'd like to offer you a full pardon. Welcome home, Agent Carter.
Agent Carter. But is she still going to be the power broker at the same time now?
Start lining up our buyers.
Yep.
Super soldiers might be off the menu, but we're about to have full access to government secrets, prototype weapons, you name it.
God damn it, Sharon. Wow, I'm surprised we didn't get another hint. I mean, I guess we kind of got the U.S. agent reveal with Val. So maybe that's our little tidbit going into this. Holy shit, though. This was an amazing finale. I think it delivered on every front, man. We got Carly's wrapped up, Carly's storyline coming to a close. We got John Walker actually having a bit of a redemption arc in this, kind of his own turning point, his own self-realization in that moment. Like he finally, where he didn't give himself, he gave in, he caved into his emotion, he caved into his guttural reaction after Lamar was killed. But in a moment of crisis, in a moment from, or am I going to tunnel vision on my revenge, which is what drove him to come there, or am I going to stop and help save these people? In that moment, John Walker came back and he did the right thing. And then he helped Sam and Bucky throughout the rest of the episode. It was really well done. I really like that they didn't paint him as a black and white villain. Like he didn't just go, all right, once this switch was flipped, he couldn't come back from that. There was no more complexity after that, and there definitely is. He even got reinstated in some position in the government, which is nice for him as well. Becoming the U.S. agent now, just with the black, his exact same suit, but black. And he's going to be lining up to work for Contessa here soon, Val. And we'll see if that's, whether it's as a Dark Avengers or a Thunderbolts situation. And like I've said before, I think we're going to be leaning more into the Thunderbolts, considering Ross, the continuous references to the Raft. Zemo getting the last laugh on these super soldiers, Carly getting killed, and then the ones that were left over, his butler bombed. And he was like, oh, the news. Nice. And yeah, goddamn, man, this episode was phenomenal. The action sequences were great. The suit for Sam looked amazing. I love how he didn't shy away from Carly's goals, at least the parts that he believed in. Of course, we all know she was going about it the entirely wrong way. They didn't start off as this level of extremism. They didn't start off hurting people. They started off robbing. They started off like Robin Hood and the Merry Men. And that's why even her own people, after a certain point, were just like, is this what we should be doing? This doesn't feel like what we started off as, because Carly kept progressing it. And just like Zemo said, she's going to keep doing it until she forces you to kill her. And even despite that, Sam wasn't going to kill her. It had to be somebody else that actually put her down. And, you know, I feel like there was definitely more to it, and New Rockstars goes into it a lot more, as far as a lot of Carly's storyline got cut due to like changes in the story and the production because of COVID. Like there was a whole like pandemic and virus arc that tied into what they were doing that got cut. So, you know, a lot of her, she could feel underdeveloped a little bit, and I get that. But I think overall we kind of still got what she was going for. And I do like what she was going for makes sense. Again, it was just like the methods and the way she escalated didn't really hold up any longer. But I really understood. I felt for their crew, what their ideals stood for. But again, she was going about it the wrong way, and she put herself in a position that got her where she was. And I appreciate what they did with that, especially how both of these perspectives with John Walker and with Carly, they had kind of similar paths that they were going on. They paralleled each other's journeys kind of similarly. They started off with the best intentions. They started off on a righteous path. They hit their own struggles, which resulted in them both escalating in different ways. However, John Walker was able to come back from that, at least on some level, and hold himself back. Carly, however, could not, and kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Of course, John Walker's path was fueled with revenge. Hers was fueled with idealism, which is a lot more dangerous depending on how it's used. So I like how they kind of explored that, and Sam agreed with it. I mean, I think in general you should agree with what she's kind of going for. But she was trying to give people a wake up call, and she was going about it in the extremist kind of way, which is why they got labeled the way they were, and they got targeted the way they were, and they were being treated the way they were. But the fact is, Sam stood up for them and held accountable the people that needed to be held accountable. The people that not only are accountable for creating Carly and her movement, but the people that also refused to take accountability for John Walker's actions, pushing that responsibility onto John. And Sam was like, whoop, nah, bitch, this is on you. You guys in your office, in your room, are the ones that have this power. It is the system. It is the decision makers. It is the people behind the scenes that are the ones that need to be held accountable as well. It's not just the people that pull the trigger. It's not just the person that is there physically. It is the people in charge that also need to be held accountable. And this is going into a whole other thing that is a very strong topic, especially today. But I won't go into any of that. But I think it's universal in a way. Power corrupts is a thing that, you hear quite often in fiction. And it's these people that are in power that make all the calls. And like Sam said, you don't have the people who's living with the consequences in the room when you're making decisions. You only have other people like you. You only have your own interests in heart when you're making any of those decisions. You say it's for everybody else, but you don't. And that goes back to like the moment we saw in the room before the cameras went live, before the Flag Smashers attacked with them. There was like, why do we even need to make a vote? We already know what we're going to pick. And it was like, we just got to put on the show. It's all about the optics, about the perception, about the public eye and how we look in front of that. It's all done behind the curtains, man. People are bought off, paid off, patting their pockets. It's just how things are, man. And it's got to change. And I like how the show does not shy away from it. Bucky coming in and confronting Nakajima and telling him the truth. I wish we kind of would have lived in that a little bit more. I want to see how that conversation progressed, but it doesn't look like he's going to be revisiting him. Of course, I understand that for sure. Losing that friendship, and he marked off everybody in his list. He completed his therapy, and he's able to live now, it seems like. You know, he's hanging out with Sam, and that was one thing I knew it wouldn't happen in the beginning, but it still hurt when they said, like, at the beginning when they decided to help each other and work together on this in episode 2. At the end, I was like, where they were like, I just want to be done with you. Once we're going to do this thing, see it through, and after that, I don't want to see you ever again. I was like, even though I knew the show was not going to go that route, it still hurt. And I'm glad, though, seeing them like in this situation, especially after last episode, seeing them come together, I think truly for the first time and understand one another in the last episode was really beautiful. And it brought them to this point where Sam and, well, Bucky is now welcomed into Sam's community and life and family, and like seeing him play with his nephew, seeing him interact with the community at the docks, seeing him interact with Sarah, and like seeing him actually kind of start to have some semblance of a normal life again. And then, of course, there is Sam, our man of the show, our Captain America. Dude, that title change at the end of the episode was beautiful. Him not letting this change who he is, him keeping his ideals and steadfast, him knowing that America has not been the best of country. It is not flawless. It is not without its guilt in a lot of things that we just choose to ignore, or the history books choose to ignore. There's a lot of things that come with that mantle, with living in this country and trying to hope for the better, build it into that aspiration of what we envision when we think of patriotism. He is a patriot. He is a lover of this country. And despite all the wrongs that he's had to live with, all the wrongs that he knows have happened, especially towards African Americans and many other races, of course, everything that's gone on in the country since its inception, all got us to where we are. So in that vein, people have died for this country, whether it's for righteous causes or not. People have died for this country. And somebody who was born and raised in it, he wants this country, he wants his home to be better. He's going to hold it accountable for the things that have happened. Like whether or not it happened in the name of progression, whether or not it happened in the name of science, safety, things still happened, and accountability, no matter what the end goal was, it's not the means justify the ends. Even though it got us to this point, accountability still needs to be had. And that's at least where I stand on it. I was like, just because it made life better for a lot of people in the long run doesn't make what happened okay. At least not if you have any semblance of a soul. And seeing him come out and just call it as it is. It's like, dude, I'm a black man. Not me, obviously. Sam, I'm a black man wearing the stars and stripes, wearing the shield, and you think I don't know your struggle? Do you not know that I can feel the millions of people that hate me in this moment? And there are, and that is the sad fucking truth of this world, of this country especially, that would be fucking upset with that, might target him for that, might try to even kill him for that. If this was any other, especially if this was in the earlier days, you know, maybe like even now, it's not even like, we keep talking like I know a lot of us tend to talk like this shit happened a long time ago. It's still fucking happening, man. And it's pathetic for people that act like that. I loved him calling it out. Public television, public access, broadcast around the world. And the moment that Isaiah saw it, man, and I'm so glad we went back to Isaiah. I was watching Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond and Mark Bernardin talking about referencing one of my favorite, if not my favorite episode of Doctor Who, the Vincent and the Doctor. About having a moment like that, if you haven't seen the episode or are aware of it. In that episode, the Doctor because they have to go to visit Vincent Van Gogh, because wherever he was or whatever, there was a monster terrorizing things. He had to go there and interact with them. Throughout that whole thing, you kind of see the struggle that he went with, you know, as an artist, not being appreciated, his mental illness taking effect, his depression, his everything that was like really kind of destroying his life. And they thought, okay, in this moment, maybe we can kind of give him a glimpse of what he will see in this future. So he takes him in the TARDIS, he takes him to the future, to the present day, and shows him a Van Gogh gallery. Takes him in to show that nobody back then, when he was a painter, considered anything he made art, or good for that matter. And he lived and died believing he was a failure. So he took him to the future in a hope to maybe change the man's life for a better, showed him a gallery where all of his work's being appreciated, asks the, what's the word for it? The curator to talk about Vincent Van Gogh for a minute. And the guy starts just talking about how he's renowned for his work, his use of color, the strokes of his brush, his brilliance, and that in his opinion, he is the greatest artist of all time. And you see it break this man. In the end, it didn't change anything. He still killed himself. It didn't change history, but for a brief moment, he had some acknowledgement and some peace. And sometimes the bad moments, they are heavy and you live with them, but they never completely destroy the good moments. And in the end, sometimes the good moments aren't enough. But in this moment, we had a similar thing here, and I loved it to death. And I cry every time I watch that scene. And man, I was weeping in this episode quite a few times. But another one of those was when Sam, and this is what Mark Medartin was talking about. He was like, I hope that there's a world where we live where Isaiah Bradley gets to go to the Captain America exhibit and he's recognized for his part in it. And I don't know if they knew this ahead of time. I don't think so. The way they talk about it, I'm pretty sure they're out of the loop on the Marvel stuff a lot of the time. So just the fact that it played out like this, and I think that's the way that you would want it to play out in your head, for Isaiah to have that kind of like cathartic justice to what happened with him. The fact that they buried all of his information, they buried his existence, they buried his life, they erased his life for the things he did for the country, and see it pay off like this. It takes him to of course, we start with Steve Rogers and we're going through there, and then we go to Isaiah Bradley. He's got his own bronze statue, his own commemoration, photos released from his file for things that he has done, and a plaque commemorating his struggle. And Isaiah never thought he would live to see himself acknowledged or given any kind of respect for what he had done. And just beautiful, man. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Elijah, man, he's such a brat, and I love it. Curious to see if they will indeed, and I think they will. I mean, they're pretty transparent. They're setting up a Young Avengers, so I think we'll see him back, and we'll see him as Patriot someday. And he's got the look, man. He's got it. So I'm really looking forward to it. But man, and Sam in that suit looks so good, so good. Comic just leaps right off the page, man. This episode was so good, man. I think, I was kind of on the fence about whether or not I like this more than WandaVision or not. And I think I do. I think I do right now. It could be the high of this moment, but I think it's just these relevant themes and this optimism, this hope that kind of comes with it, and this that's just really hitting me and speaking to me right now, especially considering the state of our country in the past few years. I like it. I like it being acknowledged, and I like it. Marvel's not shying away from tackling it. These issues, man. But Sharon being the power broker, I know some people were like, "There's no way." Still not on board with it. I think they kept. And I wasn't for about half of the show until like we started cutting back. I was like, it would be weird for them to introduce some new person at the end of this, in the final episode, to actually be the real power broker. I was like, it's going to be her. It's definitely going to be Sharon, I think, in the end. So it kind of sucks that they're going with this route with her. She got her pardon, and she's still going to be power brokering. So I wonder how people are going to feel about that. So, I mean, right now, I'm not sure what else I have to say about this episode. It was just brilliant. The choreography, the fights, the action, the set pieces, the character beats, everything in this was perfect, and it paid off, and I loved it. So guys, that's going to be the end of my little wrap up for this. Guys, as always, like we have been every week with these, at the end of the week on Saturday afternoon, we are going to be doing a live stream where we just talk about it. You guys ask me your own questions, ask me my opinions on things that you've got questions about. We can speculate, we back and forth. It's a lot of fun. Just keep an eye out Saturday, subscribe, and you'll get a notification when we go live. So I hope you guys come on and stick around for that. We'll be doing our final, New Rockstars reaction for the breakdowns as well. But yeah, that's it. We've made it to the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Who knows, maybe season 2. Maybe there is no season 2 because the next show is going to be Captain America and the Winter Soldier. How about that? Think about that. They're talking about maybe continuing, so we'll see. But yeah, that's it, guys. Remember, full end reactions are available over on Patreon, or if you become a member here on the channel, so you can watch along the entire episode with me. A huge shout out to our patron legends, Mandy Sherritt, Antoine Rodriguez, and Ryan Karen. Thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you, everybody who's been joining along for this and subscribing to the channel since we started going along with this. Remember, we also have a Discord channel, so if you're interested in that, check that out. Links in the description. Follow me on my socials. That all being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.